And what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday Night Pep Rally right here on Riverside TV. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight on a Friday night to bring you all the scores, highlights, analysis from week 0 of the high school football season. My name is Pep Fernandez. Jeff Gorham by my side, who hustled back from the big Poly versus Hillcrest game tonight, which was live on Riverside TV. Jeff, good to see you.
Hey, it's great to be here. Pep, we're in a new place, a new home. It's here at Riverside TV. Is there anything better than this?
No, man. I've been waiting for week 0 for a long time. I've got so many papers and highlighters and numbers and names. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to have a great show. I think we're going to have highlights from about a dozen different games from Riverside and, the surrounding communities, as well as week 0 is upon us. And I'll tell you this, too. We had some wacky weather out there affecting some of the games as well.
Are we talking Hurricane Hillary? Is that what it's called?
It's on the way, it sounds like. So I know the desert, and we even had a local team playing out in Nevada that was affected by this weather. So it's on its way.
I'll tell you, how much fun is it, though? We're starting here. Well, week 0, I hate saying week 0, but we've had so many great games. A lot of surprises this week, too, from new coaches, new teams. And, man, it has been fun. This is going to be a great show. We're going to have it every single Friday night. Pep Rally, the Pep Man is here. So much fun.
Yeah, and so here's the deal. So every Friday night, Riverside TV has a live game. So as quickly as we can get the show prepped, we will go live with the Pep Rally right after the Riverside TV game of the week. So tonight, thanks to Hillcrest and Poly, which actually was a very quick game. Jeff, you called it. You were able to get back here to the studio, and here we go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, great start to this season, and it was over there at Wood.
Yes.
What is it? Van Buren and Wood.
That's right. You got it. All right, our director, Jason, let's do this. Let's go to the first set of highlights here. Riverside Poly taking on Hillcrest right here on Riverside TV just a little bit earlier tonight. And Jeff, for Riverside Poly, it was the debut of a new head coach.
Jerron Gilbert. If you ever heard that name, played in the NFL for 4 years, played at San Jose State, was an assistant coach at Jurupa Valley. Amazing guy.
Yeah, what a way to open up for the Bears tonight against Hillcrest. That's Izzy Morales getting to the pylon in for the touchdown there for the Riverside Poly Bears. Not a lot of scoring in this game. Hillcrest trying to answer. That's quarterback Christian Alvarado to Nick Shaw across the goal line here. Then Alvarado taking his time, lets it fly. Man, Shaw is a big-time receiver inside the 5-yard line on the completion. And Hillcrest will get close, but not in to the end zone there. The Riverside Poly defense stands up tall. Jeff, that's it. Poly just added one more touchdown. That's your ball game. 14-6 for the Bears.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you are the Bears, you got to be happy. I mean, the last 2 years they've been on the uptake. New coach comes in and they take care of business against a Hillcrest team, which is offensively has always been dominant, but the Riverside Poly has arrived.
Yeah, congrats to the Riverside Poly Bears. Big win there. All right, next up, we've got Arlington taking on Western Christian. A couple seasons ago, we saw Arlington win a CIF championship.
A state championship.
Go all the way to the state finals, trying to rekindle some of that magic. Let's go to the highlights of Arlington and Western Christian. Thursday night football here in Riverside, and get ready. This is going to be like a saga here. There's a lot of highlights. Western Christian quarterback Jared Doolittle finding Daryl Booker there on the touchdown. Doolittle did a lot in this game for Western Christian. This time he's going to air it out big time to number 4. That's Booker holding off a couple of defenders in for another score. So Western Christian racing out to an early lead, Jeff, but you can never count out the Lions, can you?
No, because you got Kevin Argamosa.
Yeah.
You have Covington. You've got them all.
So they would tack on the 2-point conversion there. So Arlington trying to dig out of an early hole against Western Christian. So they go here to number 22, Akili Thomas. And there's one thing Arlington can always do, Jeff, and that is run the football hard.
Smash mouth football at its finest.
So a touchdown there for Arlington. Western Christian trying to answer, but the Lions Department of Defense coming up with an interception. Gunnar Rosenloff with the pick there. He's going to end up being pushed out around the 20-yard line. And Arlington back in business. And they love to run that, what do they call it, the pound cake offense?
Yes, that's exactly what they call it.
Big number 96 in for the touchdown there for the Arlington Lions. They love to get the big guys involved, and we love having the big guys find the end zone.
The big giants.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, next week we're going to have this Arlington's going to play Poly. That'll be another good one on Riverside TV.
Yeah, another Riverside TV game of the week. The big pick there by Arlington sets up this. The field goal attempt up and good. Splits the uprights there for the Arlington Lions. So we just saw Riverside Poly get the win. Arlington trying to do the same thing to set up that big showdown next week. 17-14, Lions on top. Here comes Western Christian with 3 of their own. We're all knotted at 17 apiece as we move to the second half here between the Lions and the visiting Lancers. 17-17 at the break. So, third quarter action. Western Christian near the goal line. Doolittle calls his own number, goes in for the score. Western Christian back on top in this epic 3-minute saga between Arlington and Western Christian here. Arlington answers now with a touchdown right up the gut. They would make things close, but Western Christian would step on the gas late in this game. And again, it was going to be Doolittle doing a lot. This would set him up in great field position here. It's going to be Booker on the return, shaking off several Lions. This is going to bounce to the outside. Booker on the run across the 50 into Arlington territory. It's going to take a couple of different lines to finally drag him down in the red zone there. That would set up this. It's going to be Doolittle coming up to Russell Dunham for the touchdown here. Western Christian adding to their lead. And Jeff, they would not look back in this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they were surprising on the road, playing against a team. Arlington is on the rise as well. A lot of guys returning from last year's team, but Western Christian, very, very good tonight.
Yeah, they had some down years, but obviously Western Christian back this season. Doolittle to Elijah Vasquez. Nice move up the seam. There goes Vasquez in for another touchdown here.
Would that be Elijah to Doolittle?
It was, right?
It was.
And the final score in this one will be Western Christian 37, Arlington 23. One more coming up for the Lancers here. And so Arlington will try to go for win number 1 this season when they take on Riverside Poly next week.
Hey,
right here on Riverside TV.
And I'll tell you what, it's going to be the Hall of Fame weekend at Arlington, so there'll be a lot of people in that stands hoping to get that victory.
That's right. It's going to be a packed house. You know, all the, illustrious alum come back. I think you're hosting the Hall of Fame ceremony, aren't you?
I am hosting the Hall of Fame Saturday night. Hopefully Arlington can show some grit and maybe get a win against Riverside Poly next week.
See if they can do it. All right, moving on here in the show. Next up, Roosevelt taking on King. And in this matchup, Jeff, for Roosevelt, it was the debut of Chuck Chastain.
The dog bite. That's his nickname. Everybody knows it. Chuck Chastain is known as the dog bite.
Well, the former Norco coach who had a ton of success there, his dog when you were a kid?
No, when he was a kid, remember his dad is a big-time referee.
Yes.
He says, hey, anytime you address him, just call him dog bite. so his dad threw him under the bus.
Well, it was Roosevelt showing plenty of bite against King in their Thursday night Week 0 opener. Let's go to the highlights, Jason, in that one as well. Again, Chastain, the former Norco head coach, now at Roosevelt, trying to start off with a win off the delayed handoff. Mitchell Rodenbaugh goes into the score early, 6-zip lead for the Mustangs. Then the little screen pass here, Brian Wilson, the QB for Roosevelt, finds a Rodenbaugh. Big pickup, and he's still on his feet. Rodenbaugh races to the end zone for another Roosevelt touchdown. 12-zip at this point. So Jason McMains and the King Wolves trying to battle back. Nice grab there by Alexander Juarez down to about the 35 of the Mustangs. And then it's going to be number 15, Sam Green, rumbling inside the 20, the 10, the 5, and in for the score. The first touchdown of the season there for the King Wolves makes it a 12-6 game. But Roosevelt, Chuck Chastain's going to have that offense clicking.
Well, anytime he has guys in the open space, great athletes, they're going to score some points, definitely.
Yeah, they got some great athletes all over, including that quarterback, Brian Wilson, going in for the score there. Makes it 18-7 Roosevelt at that point. They weren't done yet. Wilson has the time in the pocket, lets it fly. Beautiful throw up the sideline near that back pylon for the touchdown. And Wilson was just picking them apart. There was the 2-point conversion.
The Beach Boy.
26-7.
The Beach Boy,
Brian
Wilson.
That's right. And then bat snapped the ball, batted out the back of the end zone. That's a safety there. And then take a look at that one. And I think that was the safety there. So it makes it 30-7. And then how about another Roosevelt touchdown? This time it's going to be number 6, Noah Vasquez, going in for the score there for the Mustangs. 2-point conversion would fail. Nice play there by the Wolves. That was Green again, number 15. But just too much Roosevelt in this one. And King, you can see here, Jeff, he's kind of their own worst enemy.
We got to get a snapper. We were talking about that earlier tonight. We need a long snapper. We need somebody who can hike the ball.
And they get scholarships. You can get scholarships to be the long snapper. Vasquez goes in for another touchdown. That is it. Game over. Roosevelt wins 42-7 in Chuck Chastain's debut as head coach.
Yeah, and I talked with a principal at Poly tonight, and he said, Daryl Hanson, he was at the game last night. He said the game was a lot closer than that 42-7. So King is going to be a little better than we think.
All right, so Chuck Chastain, a winner there. All right, back to the highlights as we move on. Moreno Valley taking on Notre Dame. This game was at San Bernardino Valley College, the home of the Titans.
Yes.
Rick Pontius, the head coach for Notre Dame. Jeff, I know he was on your coach's perspective. Great dude, trying to get that program going in the right direction.
And I'll tell you what, he was focused. He has his guys buying in 100%. It's just, man, when you come in against a Moreno Valley team that's so athletic, there's going to be some issues, but I'll tell you what, Notre Dame is on the rise as well. Coach Pontius is, like I said, a wonderful guy, great military background, and knows his football.
All right, so let's take you out to SBVC. Jason, you know what to do. Vikings and Titans coming at you. Let's go right to the highlights. It was a lot of Moval, especially early on. Carruthers Amir goes in for the score, 6-0. The Vikings setting sail early in the scoring column. And here comes another big run. And it's one of my favorite football names. As soon as it came in, Jeff, I was excited. Kiki Ciccio.
Kiki Ciccio.
Kiki with a big run here for the Vikings. Listen, Coach Benitez, who took over for Coach Watkins at Moreno Valley, looks like the secret there is going to be running the football, and they're going to do a good job of it. It looks like they're going to continue that, at least with the Vikings. And then that's going to set up the touchdown here for Kiki. 12-0 Moreno Valley. Don't you love it?
I love Kiki.
Score there. Here comes the 2-point conversion for the Vikings, and that one would work out as well as they go up 14-0 on Notre Dame. So the Titans, they've got some work to do, trying to battle back in this one and make things interesting at SBVC. Titans back to punt. It's up, it's off. Moval on the return. Bouncing around, and Jeff, what do they usually say? Fire, poison, like get away from the football,
yes.
Right?
Don't touch it. Or give it to Cece.
Well, the Titans recover here for Notre Dame, and that would set up a couple points here coming up for Notre Dame as they would have good field position as they recover that punt. And that would set up the field goal attempt. The lefty is up and good for 3. So Notre Dame is on the board, making it a 14-3 game. But Moreno Valley's got several weapons, more than just Kiki. Noah Muhammad, the quarterback, to Nate Moreno. It's going to be 20-3 at this point for Moreno Valley. You can see another touchdown run. We don't have 21 on the roster.
Let's just call him Kiki.
Kiki, part 2. Number 21 goes in for the Moreno Valley touchdown, 26-3. Here comes the 2-point conversion. They would also connect on that as well. Moreno Valley goes on to a big win. 49-9 the final score out there at SBVC. So Moval jumped on Notre Dame early, piled on at the end, and got the victory. There's that 2-point conversion, and that's it. As Moreno Valley wins against Notre Dame in their Week 0 opener. So
did you see Jensen? Mr. Jensen was the umpire. He played Santa Claus during the Christmas season. He was out there on the field.
Was he really?
Yes, he was.
Sounds like you were making that up.
No, if you go back, watch it. He has a big beard. He's Santa Claus every Christmas. My kids love him.
I didn't even know that. So that score is not correct, but Moreno Valley did win big against Notre Dame. All right, so next week, Notre Dame will try to get their first win of the season when they play on Saturday night against Arrowhead Christian. The Eagles, Jeff, looked pretty impressive against Arroyo Valley last night.
You were at that game, I heard. There was a Pep Fernandez sighting.
There was a whole Fernandez family sighting out there.
Now, is it true that there's cheerleaders that are Fernandez's?
There's a couple of them, actually. Yes.
Fernandez girls.
Yeah, so I will be at that Notre Dame game next Saturday night, ACA against Notre Dame. But first things first, let's go to the highlights. Arrowhead Christian taking on Arroyo Valley. Thursday night foosball out there. And the Eagles, hey, don't forget, the Eagles made a run to the CIF semifinals last year in Division 13, and they got a lot of guys back. First off, though, Royal Valley going in for the score. Ronald Weathers gives the Hawks the early 6-0 lead, but here come the Eags, as I like to call them. Quarterback Connor Thulez to Sebastian Carrillo. Carrillo's got some wheels, Jeff.
Carrillo!
All the way in for the touchdown, and they would not get the two-point conversion, so we are tied at 6. I was thinking this game might go to overtime, but no, Thulez to Gustafson for the touchdown there for ACA. They take the lead 12-6, and they would put the icing on the cake later in the fourth quarter after a turnover by Arroyo Valley. The Eags would answer. That's Alan Overholt blasting his way to the end zone. 18-6, the final score. Arrowhead Christian wins their season opener against Arroyo Valley.
Did you see Arroyo Valley's helmets, though?
Pretty nice.
Those are sweet.
They look good, and I think Arroyo Valley's going to turn things around, but not tonight, or last night against ACA, 18-6, that final score there. All right, Jeff, maybe the big game tonight, maybe the biggest game in the entire country. Centennial taking on Mater Dei, two of the top teams in the entire nation.
Those two teams played tonight? Who would have thought? I was over watching Poly. Who cares about Mater Dei? But
national headlines for this one, Jeff, and they always play, whether it's week 0, whether it's CIF semifinals, they always go head-to-head, and unfortunately, if you're a Centennial fan, it was the Monarchs getting the best of the Huskies again. Let's take you out to Corona for that one. Centennial and Mater Dei, our friends at Valley, had this game, and man, it was the Monarchs early. Elijah Brown, the stud quarterback for Mater Dei, finding Marcus Brown there on the touchdown as they grabbed the early lead at Centennial High School. And they would add to it. This time it's going to be Jordan Davison punching in the touchdown for Mater Dei. So they had the lead 14-zip. Here's another look at that touchdown run. Centennial would come to life, though, Jeff, in the second half to make things close. Fourth quarter now, it's going to be Cornell Hatcher getting Centennial on the board for the first time. They were trailing 21-0 at that point. But here come the Huskies, Jeff. You can never count out Matt Logan.
No, look at all the fans. They're right on the field. I want to go watch one of these games.
So it was 21-7 at that point, and then the pick six, Tate Byer taking this one back to the house. Centennial makes it 21-14. Anything can happen in this one. But unfortunately, if you're a Centennial fan, Mater Dei would tack on one more score. The Husky comeback would not happen tonight. 28-14, the final score as Mater Dei beats Centennial at Centennial to open up the season here. And again, two of the top teams in the entire country, Jeff.
And I would have ventured to say, I think these two teams might play again. What would you say about that?
If you're thinking all the way down the road in the CIF Southern Section semifinals, then yes, I think that could happen again. So it's usually Centennial against Mater Dei or Centennial against St. John Bosco.
Yeah.
So, but right down Rimpaw, the game wasn't on Rimpaw, but right down Rimpaw, our old friend Bert Esposito, the new head football coach at Santiago, making his debut tonight, Jeff, at Yucaipa.
I love Bert. I remember his days at Ramona High School. I used to hang out with him all the time. Now he wins everywhere he goes. How did he do tonight?
Man, let's check out the highlights to take you out to, well, they call it Yucktown. Take you out to Yucktown, Yucaipa High School. Bert Esposito and the Sharks going up against Justin Price and the T-Birds. Coach Price is one of our favorite guys. Marvin Hungerford. That's Marv. Jeff with a great catch. And that would set up a field goal here for Yucaipa. We're not going to go blow for blow during these highlights, but just know that Yucaipa won big time against Santiago. But Jeff, we talked about Coach Esposito winning everywhere he's been. Temecula Valley, Paloma Valley. You said you were hanging out with him at Ram High. I think it's just a matter of time before they start winning on Rimpaw with the Santiago Sharks.
Well, as soon as he starts getting them in the weight room, he's the king of the weights. Those guys will be ready to go here pretty soon. Give them 5 or 6 weeks, they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, Yucaipa here with a touchdown right up the middle. They love that ground game, and now they got a passing attack as well. Marvin Hungerford was an all-league kind of guy last year, and he's obviously going to be a threat through the air.
Yeah, and you can't be called the Thunderbirds if you don't throw the football.
Got to throw the football.
Yeah, if you're the Thunderbirds, you throw the football. That's just the way it is.
59-14, the final score there as Yucaipa rolls big time against Santiago out there in Yucktown. All right, Jeff, so we've got a lot more highlights to get to. We've got Ghazal Hassan standing by as well. But let's go to the scoreboards for the first time tonight. People are watching live, and I should probably jump on the live chat, see what's cracking out there. But let's go to the scoreboards for the first time tonight, run through some of the scores that you just saw. Oak Hills and Aquinas. Man, the Aquinas Falcons going up to the high desert, Jeff. Losing 42-15.
Don't lose to Oak Hills, for gosh sake.
That was a big game. Out in Las Vegas, Cajon, they're good again. They beat Arborview 27-2, so they didn't give up any offensive touchdowns in this one.
And what's an arbor view? I mean, that's all I want to know. It's just sitting underneath an arbor,
tree,
an awning? Come
on. Redlands blanks Citrus Hill, 42-zip the final score in that one. You just saw the highlights of Santiago and Yucktown. T-Birds win big there. Oh, so Norco has a new head coach, right? Because Chuck Chastain left.
Dan Barledge,
but they come up short on the road at losing, or the Olympians win 52-7 tonight. And this was one of the biggest games in the area. Beaumont and the Jacks. San Jacinto coming off a CIF Southern Section title last year. Beaumont wins 34-17. I can't wait for that Beaumont versus Citrus Valley, Beaumont versus Ukiah, Beaumont versus Cajon game coming up in CDL play, Jeff.
Oh.
Jeff Steinberg, another great Jeff, leading the way for Beaumont.
Yeah, but I'm a little disappointed just because San Jacinto lost. I always picked them to lose last year. I picked them to win this one. They end up losing.
Oh, man, you got to go back the other way, I guess.
Oh, it's that guy is Galliano.
Redlands East Valley, for the first time ever, played a home football game. Brand new stadium out there at Rev. But Vista Del Lago spoils this one. The Ravens score a long touchdown pass in the final 30 seconds of this game. They add the extra point. That's it. Story over. 42-41. Vista Del Lago winning at Rev tonight. Tesoro over Murrieta Mesa, 27-7 the final score. Murrieta Mesa should have another pretty good team. Rancho Cook and Murrieta Valley. That was one of the premier matchups this week in the Inland Empire. And Rancho Cucamonga with Brian Hildebrand, their head coach, edging out the Nighthawks tonight, 29-27 the final in that one. To the next score, San Clemente beating Chaparral. That was kind of surprising to me, Jeff. And this Chaparral team is going to be very, very good this year, but they're coming up on losing on the road by 10 to San Clemente. Next up, Temecula Valley and Charter Oak. And Temecula Valley coming up 10 short against Charter Oak. They also have a new head coach for the Golden Bears because, well,
Bert left. Yeah.
All right, our next score on this one, Carter and La Sierra tonight. Carter all over the Eags, 33-6 the final score in that one. We also had San Gorgonio and Canyon Springs. And San G, a new era beginning tonight as the G wins 24-9. And one more score on this scoreboard break, Desert Hot Springs and Rubidoux. And we're going to get to those highlights in just a second, a little bit later in the show. But Rubidoux, struggling against the Golden Eagles from out there in the desert.
I'm glad you know that. You knew they were the Golden Eagles.
Oh, I know everything, Jeff. I'm all tapped into this high school football stuff. All right, we're going to take our first commercial break here on the Friday Night Pep Rally. When we come back, more highlights, more scores, and you're going to sit down with Ghazal, aren't you?
Oh, we're going to sit down with the smartest man in the room. He knows everything about pop culture, and he knows everything about high school football. He is a bastion of knowledge.
We'll be right back on the Friday Night Pep Rally.
If you like architecture and history, then don't miss the Doors Open event in Riverside. Many buildings, some which aren't normally open to the public, will open their doors for a look at each one's unique history. Doors Open is free to the public, so visit doorsopenriverside.com to see participating locations. And don't forget to use the hashtag DoorsOpenRiverside to tag us on social media.
And welcome back to the Friday Night Pep Rally here on Riverside TV. As far as I know, it's the only high school football show anywhere in the Inland Empire live on Friday nights with scores and highlights and interviews. Jeff Gorham standing by with Ghazal Hassan. They call all the games here on Riverside TV. A great one tonight, Riverside Poly and Hillcrest. Last night we had Ramona and JW North. We'll get to those highlights in just a moment, but let's toss it over to Jeff and Ghazal as they talk all things Riverside here on the Pep Rally. Guys?
Pep, we're back, and we are with my favorite guy in the world, the best play-by-play man in the business, Ghazal Hassan. How are you today, buddy?
You're too kind. I want to congratulate you on your Scandito Award, Best Talk Show for the coach's perspective.
How do you get an award if you can't talk, though, is my question. How do they give me something like that? But I want to say I think both you and Pep, you guys do everything for me. And but, hey, the football season has started.
Yeah.
I'm in my 8th year with City of Riverside. What are you in?
This is year 11.
11 years.
11, yeah.
Now, how much fun has it been? And we had a great game tonight.
Yeah.
What do you think of that first one we had?
Tough game. Week 0, as you know, it's always tough, right? Because it's the first week. You've only been practicing a couple of weeks. Everybody supposedly does all their off-season workouts, but we both know. I mean, it's summer. And what's really interesting today is it came down to execution. I think both teams were prepared. I think both teams gave a really good effort, but Poly executed a little bit better than Hillcrest. We talked about it on the air, the two plays, the 4th down conversion, one that set up a touchdown for Victor Aguilar for Poly. We didn't have the highlight of that. And the other one was late in the game, they're trying to burn the clock, and it was a 4th and 1 near midfield, and they ran the play, and Jerron Gilbert, congratulations to him on his first win as head coach over at Poly. I think when Travis Carter, we all both like Travis a lot, when he goes back and looks at the film, they'll pick 2 or 3 things. It came down to that last play. They had tried to execute into the end zone and get the touchdown on that 4th down play. So Riverside Poly was able to convert a 4th down, and Hillcrest was not, and that was the difference in the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jerron Gilbert has himself a pretty nice Poly squad. Don't know if they can score yet, but they can stop guys. And those of you that are watching, look up Jerron Gilbert jumping out of a pool. Type it in on YouTube. He's the only guy, apparently, that can stand in a pool and jump out of the water and onto the pool deck, which is pretty impressive. So check that out. But Ghazal, you've been with us for so many years. What are some of your favorite moments? I mean, obviously, you and I working together is always a blast.
It's always fun, yeah.
And now we're with Pep. But what are some of the memories? What's one of your fondest memory?
There's so many, Jeff. I mean, one thing I remember is the first year you and I worked together, we did that Norte Vista playoff game the day after Thanksgiving. They won, and they ended up playing, I think they played San Gorgonio that year for the CIF championship, and San Gorgonio ended up beating them. It was one of 2 trips to the CIF finals for Ken Batdorf. I like that one. Were you, maybe that same year, were you weren't around for the King run with Kevin Corden, right?
I was not.
That was before. That was fun, just getting to know Coach Corden. And King hadn't been in the playoffs in so long, and they got into a run. They got, I believe, to the semifinal of their Division 5 that year. And then just calling all the different personalities we deal with. You always goof around about Ken Batdorf, and Coach Batdorf's great. We love John Rice, the Shakespearean scholar, who's now over at San Jacinto. So a lot of the personalities that we get to deal with on this level. I always enjoy, like with Coach Gilbert at Poly, I enjoy meeting the new coaches that come into the city of Riverside, because some of them are from the city of Riverside, some are not from the city of Riverside. Coach Argamosa over at Arlington, not a Riverside guy, but obviously that first year he got in, they made that great run and won a CIF championship. So all that stuff is always a lot of fun. And, like with Ken Mashinsky, I was working a little bit for Riverside TV, but that was the year I was over at the Prep Zone, and we got to cover his final, and it was a classic final against Esperanza for the Division 13 title back in 2019. So those kind of stories I always love. You see the kids, they're freshmen and sophomores in their senior year or maybe their junior year, they get to play and make a playoff run, and that's always cool.
Well, Gasol, it does a lot. He not only does high school football, he does college basketball, college baseball. You do soccer. You do it all.
Yeah. Soccer match yesterday.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, Gasol, you and I are such good friends. What is your go-to? What's your favorite time of the year if you're broadcasting games?
I love this time of year is great because sports crossover, football and soccer crossover. But I love the baseball, basketball crossover, like mid-February, right as you get into the tournament, college baseball starts and NCAA basketball starting. And I like that, like right around the holidays, the crossover between high school and junior college football and college basketball. But yeah, anytime I can show up to a game and get paid, come on, man. Like we're living in a dream world. This shouldn't exist.
Yeah, we've made so many friends over the years here with the city of Riverside, and I think the biggest thing for me is, I go to these games, I go anywhere around Riverside, and they
everybody knows you.
Well, they know me, but they always ask me, where's Pep and where's Gasol? That's always
like we're always together.
We are. We are. But it has been a blast. We're going to do this every single week. You and I are going to continue to do our magic here, or I should say you do your magic. I just throw in my little quips. But you mean so much to the city of Riverside and so much to high school football.
I appreciate it. And I want to say it's great to be in the factory with Pep because when we would work together, I'd zip home, drive home to L.A., and the first thing I would do is pop on the YouTube so I could watch Pep's show. And I know since COVID the last couple of years, there's been, kind of some fits and starts. He was doing it from his house and whatnot. But, I'm so happy that the city of Riverside, we got Pep in the studio here. He's part of he's always been part of our team, but you know what I mean. It's like, why did, I'm watching all you guys do all this stuff. Why couldn't we have done this 7-8 years ago where we could really put this package together and, have him do what he does best? And, we just along for the ride, man.
Well, we are lucky enough we're going to have 20-plus games this season long. All season long. We're also going to carry some RCC games as well. In fact, it's going to be kind of hard if you go to an RCC game. You might only be able to watch it through the city of Riverside due to the stadium conditions. But we will have all those games. We're going to have Pep with us every Friday night. The Pep Rally. Make sure you join us. We're going to have coaches here. We're going to have fans. We're going to bring in celebrities. We're going to bring in anything we can to make this show really good for you guys.
Yeah, I do want to shout out the whole team that we got going here. We got Scott, we got Jason, Steve's over here, we got Kono in the bag. Bunch of people. It takes a village, right? It takes an award-winning crew to put this all together, and it's great to kind of just see it on. What's the old line from the A-Team, George Papard? I love it when a plan comes together. And the plan's coming together tonight on the Friday Night Pep Rally, which I think it was a brilliant idea, and I'm glad we got it on Riverside TV.
Well, I'll tell you what, thank you, Gasol, and we're going to turn it back over to our man, Pep. Thank you again, and we will see you every Friday night on the field and the Pep Rally.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. We got live games here on Riverside TV, and then shortly after you come here and check out the Friday Night Pep Rally for all the scores and highlights. Speaking of, let's go back to the highlights. This was the Riverside TV game on Thursday night. North taking on Ramona. Man, it was a doozy. A lot of scoring in this one as they went back and forth out there at 3rd and Chicago. That's North quarterback Cam Shannon finding his guy. That's number 8. Carson Branch in for the score for the Huskies. Shannon throwing it all over the field. This time he finds Anthony Zavala in for the score. And then how about a little trickery here? Zavala going back to Shannon. He's got some wheels going about 50 yards down the sideline and get in there. Cam Shannon in for the touchdown here. J.W. North looking strong early on, but here come Ram High. Israel Bracamonte in for the touchdown there for Ken Mashinsky and the Rams. And then the big carry coming up here, Sincere Tolbert had himself a game on the ground. They've got great running backs at Ram High. You'll remember Bo Bruins. Now it's Tolbert's time. He goes in for a score there. And then number 9, the new QB for Ram High, letting it fly. Jeremiah Acosta to that guy, Jake Valenzuela. Valenzuela was a star last year. He is back. Shannon buying time, scrambling. Finds the back of the end zone. Touchdown there for 3rd and Chicago. Branch again. Here comes Ram High trying to capitalize here. Valenzuela makes one guy miss. He gone. Valenzuela up the sideline for Ram High. Another touchdown there. Ramona creeping back into this game against North. Shannon, little screen pass. This time dumps it off to Bronson Hogue. Hogue making guys miss, cuts back inside. Touchdown there for J.W. North. Cam Shannon doing Cam Shannon things. Back in the end zone, Dylan Boucher, the touchdown. And this would be the biggest of all. Boucher, the score there late in the game. That was the game-winning touchdown. J.W. North holds off Ramona in a wild one. 42-35 the final there. So what a way to start out the season between those two teams. And it was a great game on Riverside TV. Now, Ramona will try to bounce back when they take on Kaiser in their next game. So let's go to the Kaiser versus Arroyo highlights. We got a little bit of action from that one as well, because Ramona versus Kaiser next week is one of the biggest games in our area. They played last year, and if you remember that, Ramona and Kaiser went down to the wire, and it was Kaiser winning by 1. Well, Kaiser took on Arroyo this year, playing some good defense early on, keeping Arroyo out of the end zone. But when you talk about those Billy Cardosi teams, they're going to run the football, and they're going to score some points as well. On this play here for Kaiser, it's going to be a long touchdown run. Tyler with the long score there, and then here comes another touchdown. That's number 99, Tice Clark, in for the score for the Kaiser Cats. And they would beat Arroyo pretty handily tonight to really gain some momentum, pick up some steam going into that huge showdown, which is actually next Thursday at Ram High. So that's one of the biggest games in the area. There's another score for the Kaiser Cats. Shout out to Coach Billy Cardosi for sending in some video highlights to get on the Friday night pep rally for us. We really do appreciate it. Trying to cast a large net here, especially when a team like Kaiser, who's really good, is going to come to town and play the Ramona Rams on Thursday night next week. Another score there by the Kaiser Cats. That was Tyler getting in for the score, and big win for them. Final score in that one between Kaiser and Arroyo, 42-7 as they roll along in week 0. Big win for them. All right, one of the bigger games in our area as well. One of our favorite teams, one of our favorite coaches going into year number 30 on the season, Ken Batdorf at Norte Vista. The Braves taking their show on the road in week 0, opening things up deep in Orange County, taking on Capistrano Valley. And it was Capo Valley capitalizing, scoring first here. That's Cash Mormon in for the score, makes it 7-zip early on. And the Braves trying to battle back in this one. And this time it's going to be their quarterback hitting number, let's see, it's Syer Jefferson. Jefferson takes off, crosses the 20, down about the 10, about the 9-yard line of Norte Vista, and that would set up this. Number 19 for Capo Valley, the quarterback, Tommy Acosta, had a huge game tonight against Norte Vista. This time calls his own number, leaps into the end zone for the score, 14-0, Capistrano Valley on top. So now Norte Vista trying to crank up that offense. How about the new guy, Tajon Henderson, the transfer from Riverside Poly, big-time running back, but can also catch the football. In for the score there for Henderson. His first touchdown in a Novi uniform, and it's the first touchdown of the season for the Braves. Makes it 14-7. But here comes Tommy Acosta and Capo Valley again, 21-7 that point after the Acosta touchdown. And Norte Vista trying to come back in this uphill battle on the road against Capo Valley. Braves on offense, but not for long. Capo Valley comes up with the interception right there. So Capo Valley goes back on offense, and you could probably script it this way. Tommy Acosta, big-time quarterback, and he likes to call his own number. There goes 19 again. Acosta in for the score. That makes it 28-14 at that point, and it would be Capistrano Valley defeating our Norte Vista Braves 31-14, the final score tonight. So Ken Batdorf going into year number 30, trying to get his first win of the season next week, as they will play Shadow Hills on Thursday night. So a little bit later on this show, we will take a look, a quick sneak peek at those week 1 matchups. All right, now we're rolling on to Fontana against San Bernardino. Sean Collins, the head coach for Cardinal City, having to replace a lot of skill guys, but as you're about to see in the highlights, it looks like the Cardinals are going to be okay this season. They still have their big-time quarterback, Xavier Alvarez, scoots up the middle, untouched, and into the end zone for Cardinal City, USA. That would give them the early lead in this one by a score of 7-zip. And they're going to have like a running back by committee, and you're going to see a couple different names coming up. It was Fontana lined up for the field goal, nothing doing there. San Bernardino going back on offense, and they would get a couple big plays. And that one looked like a pitch that maybe didn't go as planned, but still a big pickup for the Cardinals as they get towards midfield on that play. And let's see, another big run coming up for the Cardinals here. They're going to do a lot of running, just like Norte Vista. It's not a shock that San Bernardino is going to run the football in that variation of the wing T offense for Coach Sean Collins, who loves to use several running backs in his arsenal. They've got number 20, Isaiah Lopez, and they've got a couple of guys, Henry Hernandez as well. This time, I think it's Isaiah Lopez on that carry. And Henry Hernandez, they call him Wreck-It Ralph. So Wreck-It Ralph had himself a big game in this one. So Xavier Alvarez, Wreck-It Ralph, Isaiah Lopez, the whole gang for Cardinal City tonight, beating Faux High by a score of 38-14, the final there. So congrats to San Bernardino High School picking up that big win against one of their rivals, Faux High. How about one more Cardinal highlight, as I think this one was Wreck-It Ralph on the touchdown carry. Big dude, and he's going to do a lot of damage running that football hard at Cardinal City. There he goes, and who wants to tackle that, really, right? There he goes in for the touchdown, Hernandez. Again, 38-14 the final score. Nice win for San Bernardino tonight against Fontana High School. So congrats to them. There it is. One more look at the score. 38-14. Cards, big win tonight. All right, next up on the show, we've got Rubidoux at home against Desert Hot Springs. Of course, we're going to see Riverside's most interesting man. That is Rubidoux head coach Patrick Thompson. He likes to go by that moniker, and he probably is, to be honest. Let's go to the highlights. Take you out to the Doe, taking on Desert Hot Springs tonight. Here come the Falcons trying to get things going in the right direction. A couple down seasons, but Coach Thompson, there he is, Riverside's most interesting man. He's got some great coaches. He's got some great players. The writing's on the wall. They're going to start winning, but it was not tonight against Desert Hot Springs, who looks to be much improved this season. So in the highlights there, the big pass play to set up the touchdown here for Desert Hot Springs. It was Messiah Smith to Dominic Amble, then Christian Davis, the touchdown run. Davis had a couple early touchdowns. That was in the first quarter. That touchdown you just saw was in the second quarter. So 12-zip Golden Eagles just like that. And there is Davis getting high fives all the way around, spotting the Golden Eagles a 12-zip lead. Ensuing kickoff, Rubidoux back to field it. Desert Hot Springs all over it, and that is going to be great field position for Desert Hot Springs, and that would set up this. It's going to be the touchdown. Smith on the QB keeper makes it 18-0 at that point. And Desert Hot Springs would go on to win pretty easily in this one by a final score of 56-8 against Rubidoux tonight. So the Falcons will have to wait another week to see if they can get their first win of the season. All right, let's go back to the Friday Night Pep Rally scoreboard and check out some more scores from here in Riverside and, of course, across the area. And a couple games, maybe some highlights that you just saw. So let's go to the scoreboard right now and check out, let's see, Fontana versus San Bernardino tonight. You just saw those highlights. It was San Bernardino beating Faux High, the Steelers. Nice win there for Sean Collins and the Cardinals in that one. Indian Springs and Cathedral City. That was a game, and I got a text message from the athletic director. They're calling it a non-game right now, not exactly canceled or postponed or forfeited, but Cathedral City was leading Indian Springs, if we can go ahead and cycle to the next scoreboard. They were leading Indian Springs 14-0 when the game was called. Apparently, out in the Coachella Valley, severe weather has already hit. There was lightning, there was thunder, there was heavy rain. So they're not sure. They're going to contact the CIF office and find out what to do about that. But Indian Springs and Cathedral City, Cat City was up 14-0. 0. How about A.B. Miller taking on Colton tonight? That was actually one of the closer games we had in week 0. A.B. Miller winning that one by a final score of 21-18. Nice win there for Miller. Patriot and Rialto tonight. Patriot getting a win against the Knights. 23-7 was that final score. Los Osos and Summit. Congrats to my guy, Nick Matheny, the head coach of the Skyhawks. They win their game 33-13. A nice win against the Grizzlies to open up their season. Arroyo against Kaiser. You already saw some of those highlights as the Cats, led by Billy Cardosi, win big 42-7, the final there. Novi and Capo Valley. You saw some of those highlights as well. 31-14 was that final score as Novi. That was a tough road game to open up for the Braves on the season. Hillcrest and Riverside Poly, the Riverside TV game of the week tonight. And it was Riverside Poly starting the season with a win. Nice, 14-6 there. Steel Canyon and Heritage. New head coach Rich McClure down there. Not getting his first win tonight, maybe next week. 42-15, the final there in that one. Valley View against Liberty. Shout out to Coach Hogg, John Phillips, always keeping us up to date as the Bison roll big time. 53-zip against the Valley View Eagles. Tahquitz and Chaffee tonight. Nice win for the Titans there. Tahquitz beating Chaffee 40-16. We'll see Tahquitz and Hillcrest coming up in a couple of weeks. That should be a pretty good contest there. Rancho Mirage taking on Hemet tonight. And the Bulldogs coming up just a little bit short against the Rattlers 28-25, the final in that one. Morningside and Paris. So Paris was up at halftime, but according to the box score, they didn't play the second half. So I guess it was forfeited at halftime. Nonetheless, it was a big win for Paris, the Panthers. Shout out to Coach Martin out there for always hitting us up with stats. Next up, Maranatha and Lakeside in this one. And the Lakeside Lancers coming up by falling by 2 touchdowns, 24-14, the final there. Big Bear and Banning. It was Big Bear spoiling Jake Niesel's debut as the head coach at Banning. 28-0, the final in that one. And how about one more score before we go to another break? It was Linfield Christian all over Maranatha Christian. 42-7 for Deshaun Burns and the Lions tonight. All right, with all that said, all the great highlights, all the great scores, we're going to take one more break here on the Pep Rally. When we come back, we will take a quick look at week 1 of the high school football season. We'll be right back.
This was the dedication ceremony for Mulberry Village, 10 transitional living cottages that will be available for those who have recently been homeless, that are either living in a shelter or a halfway home or something along those lines, that are ready for the next step, but maybe not exactly fully ready to be 100% independent yet.
Well, this is one piece and one of a myriad of solutions that we need to address homelessness in our city. So this housing will support some of the most vulnerable people on our streets. We need more of it and housing at all different levels of support. So we have to start somewhere, and this is a really awesome start.
The city has a dedicated case manager that will be providing the support for the residents here. And then we also partner with Riverside Housing Development Corporation, who will be the property manager. And they will be making sure that the property is well maintained and making sure everybody's adhering to their lease.
We're talking about people that will come in here probably with nothing. And so they have nothing to furnish with. So our agreement with the City Housing Authority is that we would work at furnishing these homes by leveraging Habitat's relationships with some of our local retailers. Habitat for Humanity's model is built around having volunteer work as the labor to keep the costs down for the project. Finally getting to this spot to where we are very close to having these residents move in.
It's just so beautiful. I think this has beautified the neighborhood in a way that we were expecting, but to see it come to life like this, it's just a great day.
Mulberry Village is a really important, I think, demonstration of the types of diverse housing that we need. You know, we need emergency shelter for people who need to get into a bed at night. We need stable housing to help people get in and stay long term. But we also need what we call transitional housing, which is here. I think we're going to see this as a successful model that we will be able to replicate elsewhere. The public is eager to see this type of thing. Our community wants to see the suffering on our streets stop. And this is one way and a big way that we can help that.
Well, Jeff, there you have it. That was week 0, man.
That was the best time ever, my friend. Woo-hoo!
A lot of scores, a lot of highlights, and we're going to do it again every single week. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at week 1, some of those premier matchups. Riverside TV is going to have a couple live games coming up.
Would they be juicy, as you used to call it?
Hey, the juicy matchups,
the
man.
Juicy
I love
matchups.
those juicy matchups.
Let's see those juicy matchups.
All right, so Thursday night, we're going to have Shadow Hills against Norda Vista, right? That's one of the Riverside TV games of the week. And Friday night, it's Pauley and Arlington. Pauley getting the big win tonight, Jeff. Arlington trying to get their first win of the season next week against the Bears.
And I know those two high schools don't like each other, so it'll be a good game.
That's going to be a battle right there. I can't wait as well. Yeah, we'll see if Pauley maybe keep this thing going. They could move to 2-0. Who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly. But Arlington, come on, give them a fight. Beat the Bears.
All right, and let's look at those Riverside School matchups for week 1 and Kaiser versus Ramona. Last year it was awesome. I think this year is going to be another great battle. Kaiser looked really impressive from the highlights that we saw tonight, Jeff.
You know, the one thing about this is I love both those guys. I love Billy Cardosi and Ken Mashinsky.
Yeah.
But see, I went to Ramona, so I got to go for the Rams, even though Billy Cardosi.
He's probably watching right now.
Billy? Billy's definitely watching. Billy, you are going to go down to Ramona. I love you, but you're going to go down. We're going to have Billy, I think, on the show next week.
That'll be fun. That's a Thursday night game. Don't forget. We also have Shadow Hills against Norda Vista, also a Thursday night game. You can watch it live right here on Riverside TV. I'm going to hazard to guess that Ken Batdorf might get that win on Thursday night.
Oh, we'll see. What is Shadow Hills' mascot?
The Knights.
Oh, God, I can't stump you.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is.
Pretty good.
JW North going on the road to Beaumont. Man, this game is going to be good, but the way Beaumont beat San Jacinto tonight, maybe the Cougars are that good this year, Jeff.
Yeah, is Jeff Steinberg up there?
He's still there.
Oh, he's a foreigner. He's from Canada. They play weird football, but apparently it's wider and longer at Beaumont. So North, be prepared.
That should be a good one. Hillcrest. Next week, they will get Redlands. Redlands coming off a nice win against Citrus Hill in week 0. Hillcrest trying to bounce back, trying to regroup, Jeff, after losing to Riverside Poly tonight on Riverside TV.
Travis Carter's got to make a comeback. I'll tell you what, they've got some guys. They just need to win. They just need to win, and hopefully they can get it against the Terriers.
We'll see.
I knew one.
All right, La Sierra taking on Rancho Alamitos. La Sierra falling tonight against Carter, so they'll try to get their first win of 2023 next week. The California School for the Deaf Riverside, defending champions, right?
Defending world champs. We're going to have them twice on the season. I talked to head coach Steve Adams today, and he said, "Hey, are you going to get us on this show?" I said, "You're darn right we are. We got you twice."
Yeah.
So hopefully they can win another state championship.
Giving them the royal treatment. They're the champs, right?
And you got that Disney movie coming out.
That's right. The whole world's going to know about the Cubs pretty soon. All right, and finally, we've got one Saturday game next week. I'll be there. Notre Dame taking on Arrowhead Christian. ACA coming off a win against Arroyo Valley. Notre Dame, licking their wounds after that big game against Moval tonight.
Yeah, Coach Pontius Pilot.
Yeah.
The greatest name ever for being a coach at Notre Dame High School.
He's got a lot of young players, so they're going to learn. They're going to get some good experience last year, this year, and they'll be better for it in the future. So those are some of the week 1 matchups next week involving the Riverside schools. Jeff, that's going to be it. My goal was to finish before midnight. We're there.
We are. We got the band back together. We closed it before midnight, and great first show.
Yeah, so remember, 2 games live on Riverside TV next week, and of course the Friday night pep rally right here following the conclusion of, what was the next Friday night? It was Pauley and Arlington. Yes.
So we will have we'll have lots of guests. We're going to have lots of highlights, and we're going to have more Pep Fernandez.
Oh, yeah. That's what everybody wants,
more
right?
More cowbell, more Pep Fernandez.
The gift that keeps on giving. We'll see you next Friday night on your favorite show, the Friday Night Pep Rally, right here on Riverside TV. Good night.
one of the rites of fall, from Pennsylvania to Ohio, and from Texas to California. Like a weekly Friday quiz, it's high school football. Can Ramona resume their rampage without Bruins and Johnson? Over at Arlington, will Coach Argamosa and the Lions regain their roar? Over at Notre Dame, what can Coach Pontius do to make Riverside remember the Titans? Can Coach Sean Moore make the La Sierra Eagles fly into the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade? Will Jason McMains and the Wolfpack at King be big game hunters in the Big West? Who can emerge as the Trojan horse for Coach Travis Carter at Hillcrest? Will a new coaching staff at Poly get the Bears to stand tall yet again? And how loud does the woofing get at 3-C for head coach Opie Vaipulu and the Huskies at JW North? And finally, what does year 30 hold for the ancient Mariner Coach Ken Batdorf and the Norda Vista Braves? Join us as we search for these answers and more, because it's football night in Riverside.